You see, when I was a kid, I don't know, I just seemed like I was always pissed off. I used to sit there and watch TV with my parents. And I don't know, I was just kind of upset all the time. Even though life was so great, I didn't have to depend on anybody. I just sucked my bottle and watched TV. I didn't have a care in the world. But believe it or not, I thought things was kind of hard back then. But really it wasn't. My parents did everything for me. Took care of me, cleaned me, bathed me, clothed me. But I don't know, I just thought that was kind of tough. But really I had it easy. Everything was done for me. But when you're young, things are just so much better than when you're old. When you're old, you always worry about things. But when you're young, you don't worry about things. You can take your shirt off in front of people. You don't worry about catching a cold. You don't worry about COVID because you think you're so strong that your immune system can take it. You walk around the beach, everybody looks at you, everybody loves you. When you're young, you're free. You're not married, you don't really have kids. You kind of can do what you want. You get to drive around, go home, nobody to answer to. People admire you, they look at you. Because a young body looks better than an old body. So when you're young, you have a lot of energy. You're free. See, when you're young, you can sit on top of a tree and everything's fine. But when you're old, you're kind of at home. You're kind of with your wife. You can't really do anything. You can't take your shirt off. You got to watch what you eat. You know, when your Friday comes, you're so happy because you get 2 days off. Because you're not young enough to really stay outside the house. You're kind of subdued. You got to eat certain type of food. Because if you chow down too much, you're going to get fat. You're going to gain weight. So when you're older, you really got to walk a straight line. You got to be very careful. Because there's only so much things you can do. You look for vacations every week. You're even falling off a skateboard. When you're old, you cannot ride a skateboard because this is what's going to happen when you're old. You're going to fall and bust your ass. So riding a skateboard when you're old is a no-no. And when you're old, most old people don't walk right. They usually have hip, leg problems, back. So a lot of them got to learn how to walk because they walk like this guy. When you're young, normally 90% of young people, they walk straight. They're strong. But 60% of old people, especially over 50, walk like this. So you got to go to chiropractors and learn how to walk. But when you're young, you got so much energy, so much strength. When you're young, you can run for days, high jump for days, and you walk straight, and you look good doing it. When you're young, you got so much stamina that you can leap everywhere like Superman. Leap over walls, leap over buildings. But when you're old, you can't get in there and fight. When you're old, you're going to get knocked out the ring like Bernard Hopkins had to learn the hard way. When you're old, you're going to get knocked out by a young guy. And you're going to start talking to yourself while you're on the ground.
He should have 20 seconds to get back in. If he can get back in 20 seconds, he's not knocked out. I don't think he's aware of that.
Because when you're old, you notice, you always want to challenge young people. You talk mess. You act like you're tough. Instead, you should be sitting here retiring like this guy. But a lot of old people, they want to challenge young guys. Talk mess to them, but as soon as that young guy jump on them, they remember how old they are because an old person only has a swing and miss away from being out of it. Why they should be retiring like this guy. When you're young, you just have those Superman powers where you can do anything you want.
Excuse me. That's a bad outfit.
You know, when you're old, it's just tough to get to the gym. Sometimes when you're in the gym, you have to really stretch and put your Ben Gay on just to lift weights. But you got this old lady right here. She's been doing it for years. And she can still come in there and lift weights. And the guys are amazed at that. Because young guys just don't see that much.
Do you think you could give me a spot for this? Thank you.
Because a lot of older guys, and especially older women, they're going to complain. They're going to talk about their knee, their back, their hip. And they're not going to be able to go and lift weights at a gym. So when you see somebody older doing that, it's amazing. And you can kind of tell she's very strong for her age. I mean, she's not picking up a lot of bars like a lot of guys do, but even to pick this much up, the guys are astounded at that. They can't believe it. A woman her age, she looks like she's in her 60s, but she's able to push that weight. And that is not easy. Because when you get up there in age, it's not easy just to even walk to the gym, let alone come to work. I mean, so your attendance record at the gym and at work usually is horrible. But what do you do? Because sometimes you try to grab a person and slap them out of it and let them know, hey, you're just wasting potential. Snap out of it. Sometimes you got to beat them to death to kind of make them understand. But sometimes it still don't work. You can beat them to death, and it still doesn't get through to them. So you almost got to wait till they're in the ER room battling for their life to kind of make them realize, hey, you know, when you were old, you didn't do anything to help the situation. But when we all get old, this is usually where we're going to end up. Fighting for our life, worrying about things. That's why you got to take care of yourself now, before it's too late. Before you can't do it anymore. So stop making excuses. Act your age. Stop trying to fight young people. Start getting in shape. Even Arnold knows he has to keep in shape. Because imagine the tough time he goes through. Remember, he was 7-time Mr. Olympia. He remembers how he used to look. He used to look like that. Now this is how he looks. So imagine the emotions he goes through. Being governor of California to just a regular guy trying to stay in shape. That has to be mental right there. He was the Terminator. And now you got guys like this coming up to him trying to burn him with cigarettes all the time. It's tough because he has a tough time trying to stay in shape. Now you get a young guy and an old guy fighting. The old guy claiming he's 62 and he can lick this young guy anytime he wants. And the young guy's like, man, it don't matter how hard you hit me, it's not going to hurt. But if I hit you, you're going to hurt. And the old guy says it's not going to happen, even though he's 62. Now what you think is going to happen now? That. Now he's out. That's why when you're old, you don't try to fight young guys. That is a no-no.